being a little bit longer, only because I couldn't get on. We've just been hit by Storm Garrotti. We've got the rain, we've got the wind, we've got the cold now. That's probably why. So just another reminder, stories are a work of fiction, no relation to any actual persons or organizations. All crimes in this world can be solved using scientific and logical analysis. It means it's up to you.
東京サイコデミック調査を再開するか
So we just finished the Devil's Triangle. Let's get on with the next case. It's starting to get a little bit supernatural now.
世界は変わりました。
The world has changed.
2019年12月に
I think this virus had something to do with it.
未知のウイルスによる新型感染症は
New unknown virus outbreak that began in Tokyo in December 2019.
男性も女性も富める者も貧しき者も善人も悪人も関係なく等しく襲いかかったのです。
Terrorized all. Whether they were old or young, male or female, rich or poor, good or
大
bad.
切な命が失われ光を見失った人たちの中には神や仏にすがろうとする者もいました。
While they were losing their lives and hope, some people began clinging to faith.
古来疫病や伝染病は神の試練に例えられたり魔物や悪魔の仕業だとされてきました。
In ancient times, plagues and disease were thought of as trials from the divine or the work of evil spirits.
日本でも疫病を鎮めるために神に祈りを捧
And even in
げ祭祀
Japan,
を執り行うという風習が今なお残っています。
we still have a custom of offering prayers and holding rituals to suppress diseases.
京都の祇園祭りをはじめ各地で見られる御霊会も疫病や災いを引き起こす魂を鎮めるための祭りです。
Many regional ceremonies are held to pacify calamitous spirits, such as Kyoto's Gion Matsuri.
でも自粛という名の制約はそれらの祭りをも中止に追い込みました。
However, the restrictions during the pandemic forced those festivals to be cancelled.
新型感染症が信仰の自由さえも奪うとは
Who could
誰
have
が想像
predicted
できたでしょう。
that the virus would rob us of even our faith?
人々は心の拠り所を見出せぬまま新型感染症は密かに沈静化していきました。
The pandemic quietly died down, while yet people had yet to find a place to turn to.
でも
But
世界は変わってしまったのです。
the world had still changed.
人の心に落ちた影は消えることなく残
The
り続けてい
shadows
まし
in
た。
people's hearts remained, having never disappeared.
そして確実にその変化が私たちの目の前へと現れようとしていました。
And those changes just beneath the surface are struggling to burst out. Nagatacho. Chiyoda. Tokyo. Prime Minister's residence. Oh yeah, so the Prime Minister made some sort of weird address. Wait, sir, you can't. The police! Someone call the police! I am the police. Let me through. Inspector Motora, you can't do that. Shut up. Where is Nina? Tell us where he is. I knew he was shady. What is all the ruckus? Asked Nina. No, it's the president. You're that officer from Shinjuku. Inspector Motora, was it? Where's Nina? You're looking for Nina? We have some questions for Haido Nina about the Deputy Prime Minister's abduction. Deputy Prime Ministers? I'd heard that the culprit escaped and was still on the run. We suspect Nina to be involved in the case. Where is he? Do you have any proof that he was involved? He was on footage from the scene of the Deputy Prime Minister's abduction. And where was this footage sourced from? An anonymous tip. Anonymous? Can you trust its authenticity? It clearly showed Otsuki and Nina. It's legit. You sure it wasn't tampered with? It's a real possibility given today's video editing technology. Deepfake technology even makes it possible to switch one person's face with another's. We're verifying that now. So, you came here without verifying the video or obtaining a warrant. If we wait for that, the suspect might get away. We know Nina was with you at your party's address. Can you tell us where he is? Nina's private life is his business. It's not my place to know that. You're covering for him? I simply respect his privacy. I know you're just doing your job, so I won't report to your superiors that you are trespassing. Inspector Motora. Will there be anything else, Inspector? So, let's just go. The police will be taking their leave. Kindly show them out. Yes, sir. This way, come on. Inspector Motora. I haven't seen Nina since the address this afternoon. If you do find him, I'd appreciate it if you would let me know. I cared deeply for him as my secretary, so I want to help in any way I can. I truly hope that you find him. Let's go, Kiyohara. I don't trust the Prime Minister. 2 hours later.
これだ。
This is the disc I received. Yay! Let's watch it. Let's watch it. Disc from unknown sender obtained. We know who sent it. I brought some extra evidence the police had on the Deputy Prime Minister's abduction, too. Investigation material package. Oh, it's Acre. And that's the factory they were kept in. Let's start by checking the footage. I can't feed the kitty cat. Right, so from the get-go, we've got Benji Furiko. Okay.
いいか?
This was taken at the abandoned factory where the Deputy Prime Minister was being held. The person in the bottom left of the video is our suspect, Benji Furiko. Oh, be right back, guys. Sorry about that. Just needed to go and see to my husband who got drowned in the rain. My drowned rat. And I accidentally switched. Yes, that's a good idea. Some chockies or something. Oh yeah, you've got corn and you have some mashed potato left over. You can have that if you want. There's no chicken. I had a chicken mayo sandwich. Yeah. Mhm. Right, let me just... Can you sit down, monkey, so I can see what I'm doing? Right, so this is Benji. Looking around. Yeah. Actually, no, because... Hang on, a big envelope. What could be inside? Sorry, be right back again. Wait, in the full bin? It's full. And no, and I don't want any food in that bin, monkey. Who's that now?
Taking Frederick. What? His name is Fred.
Oh, he's cute.
Fred.
That's Otski. That's Aiko. No.
Ah.
And there's Deputy Prime Minister Otski and the secretaries. And that's Nina. The suspect and Deputy Prime Minister are talking about something. What could they be talking about? The suspect is showing them the envelope. Huh? What was that? What was that? Can we rewind to when the shaking started and pause it? Look there. On the right side of the screen, Nina is doing some weird pose with his hands outstretched. Yes, he is. It starts to shake right after that. Is that a psychic ability? That strange pose and inexplicable shaking. If this video records the existence of a psychic ability, it makes sense why Nina disappeared. Perhaps he fled because he was afraid of being identified as a psychic. Yeah, that makes sense. Nina is a psychic. Be right back. I'm back. If we want the world to know the truth behind the psychic's cult, and that psychic powers exist, we need absolute proof that leaves no room for doubt from anyone. We can either find more video and photo evidence, or track down Haidonina and force him to confess. Those are our options if we want to put an end to the cult's crimes once and for all. Where's Nina now? He disappeared from the speech venue and hasn't turned up since. The security cameras lost power and didn't get anything. Likely that Nina cut them ahead of time. So he planned on running from the start. The police went to the Prime Minister to ask about Nina's whereabouts. I hope they've got something. Politicians always distance themselves from any scandals that come up with their associates. There's no guarantee he'll give up his location. We need to figure out where Nina went as quickly as we can. Let's check the old evidence again. We might find some clues about Nina. Old evidence? I'll do what I can on my end. If I can find anything, I'll contact you. Alright, good luck. It's got supernatural now. One of the characters is psychic.
Maybe she.
Tight putting on, but once they're on,
Comfy.
very
You know
comfy.
what I mean? But I feel like you're wearing nothing at all.
Even they're so small.
Brand new, aren't they?
Yeah, they came in plastic with the shoe, like the little foam things inside them and everything. Yeah. No, they've definitely not been.
No, they haven't.
They haven't been used. They haven't been worn at all, ever.
You can't walk these outside.
No, I know. That's why they come in a little bag.
Little bag.
With my name on it.
Rails neck.
Yes. Well then.
Threatening.
Huh? We're going to start an investigation into Nina's whereabouts as well. Look at that cat. That is so damn cute. Cute! What's wrong? Sausage, egg and chips.
Oh,
It's already in the oven. Been in the oven since 4 o'clock, because I thought you were on your way home. The kidnapping of the Deputy Prime Minister in Akasaka Minato. It ended up not being a kidnapping, but the secretaries, Eiko, Shiratsu, and Haidonina, were with him at the time. October 23rd, 10 p.m., an incident occurred at the Amano Hotel in Akasaka. The Deputy Prime Minister and his 2 secretaries disappeared. It turns out that the 3 had been called to an abandoned... yeah, new game. I've had it for a bit, but yeah, it's Tokyo Psycho-demic. It turns out that the 3 had been called to an abandoned factory in Hachioji by the suspect Benji Furiku. Deputy Prime Minister Otsuki and Nina were alive, and only Eiko Shiratsu was found dead. Fable? What happened at the crime scene? How was Eiko Shiratsu killed? And where did Benji Furiku disappear to? Oh, nice! Loki? I don't know why he looks like Loki. I think the person who knows all the answers is the psychic in the video from Yuika, Haidonina. Let's find him, no matter what it takes. Let's start by looking into Nina's background. Let's search all the evidence we have for clues. That will lead us to Nina's whereabouts. Okay. It's a pretty average resume. I wonder if we can use it to figure out where he might have gone. Name. Haidonina. Date of birth August 15, 1997. Young boy. Young boy. I can't see. Yeah. Gender. Male. Height. Koenji room 404. That's where Nina lives. It's unlikely that he's hiding there, but he may stop by at some point. We should look into his lease agreement as well. Mailing address. Education, work history. Education history. She. Yes, it is. Shiratori Private High School.
いい？
That's the high school that Nina went to. Information about Nina's time at the school and his classmates might give us a clue as to his whereabouts. Irazawa University Faculty of Economics.
そうね。
That's the university that Nina went to. Information on his time at the school might give us some clues.
いい？
Stubblebind Securities.
そうね。
That's where Nina worked before becoming a secretary. He worked at that securities company for 3 years. I wonder if they still have his employee data. Licenses and certifications. Standard driver's license. Reasons for applying special skills in areas of appeal. I'm applying for the position of private secretary as I strongly agree with Mr. Kamakura's policies and aspirations and wish to be of service to him. Ever since I was a child, I always enjoyed supporting others rather than taking the lead. And in my previous job, I supported the team leader as a sub-leader in the department. No requests there. And that's his picture. Okay.
You don't know better after it was tired.
Let me see.
Like legit.
His nose is a bit too long and pointed.
Little-
I know.
The dude, is that my cat?
No. I swear, it's awful. This month's PS
Oh, no,
Plus
it's
games.
shit.
It's really
Fucking
shit. I mean, I suppose some for okay, but yeah.
Stand up.
Can you just check on the food in the oven? Eiko Shiratsu. She was even younger. Don't think anything on here is relevant to... Thank you. Yeah, I think it's probably the best game out of the lot. I might play it. I don't know. I'll see. Mm. Mm. Oh yeah, I've got some information on. So let's talk to the dark web. No, a kitty cat.
You put a thing in there? I'm like, maybe that work?
Can you move your head? I can't read the subtitles. The police have already investigated Nina's home. Did they find anything? Nina doesn't live at that address. What do you mean? The address belongs to a different person. I looked into it. Nina has no connection with who lives there. In other words, they're complete strangers.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I've still got one here, but okay. No, you have it. You have it. You got teeth. Yeah. I forgot one. Sometimes people don't put their current address on their resume, so I also traced his residence certificate. However, the address on his residence certificate was the same as the address on his resume. So he was using a fake address. Can I dip it in your tea? It's tea. Looks like it. I'll check out his family register too and let you know if I find anything. Got it.
ちょっと待ってください。
ちょっと待って. I'll try hacking into the server of Shiratori High School. We have Nina's data. We should be able to trace him through his contacts. I don't think any of this stuff is real. There we go. Thank you. That's weird. What's wrong? I checked the alumni data, but there's no record of a person named Haido Nina being enrolled. That's not weird. I was expecting that. Probably the same for the university. All his information is fake. What? I also checked alumni photos against Nina's facial characteristics, but there were no matches. So Nina was never enrolled at Shiratori High School? That's about right.
Yeah.
I'll try hacking to the server of Irazawa University. If we have Nina's data, we should be able to trace him through his contacts. He's a ghost, my dude. I checked the alumni data, but there's no record of a person in Haido Nina being enrolled. That too? I also checked alumni photos against Nina's facial characteristics, but there were no matches. Can't even believe it.
Hi.
Stubble-bind Securities, where Nina used to work. I've built systems for that company before for work. They have a really cool cafe in the building. I'll try hacking into Stubble-bind security servers and see if there's any information on previous employees. I'm sure his company keeps backups of their data. As expected, security for a securities company is pretty strong. Done. I found a list of employees, but I don't see Haido Nina's name on the list for past or current ones. So he never actually worked at that company? So it appears. What on earth? I looked into Nina's family register. How'd it go? Did you find anything out? Haido Nina's family register doesn't exist. What? I don't know if he was never registered or if someone removed him from the registry. But what I can say for sure is that Haido Nina doesn't exist in terms of family registry. Can't believe it. Yeah. Since Nina was even able to become a secretary, it makes me think that something is at work behind the scenes. Yeah, the Prime Minister. He is shady as shit. Haido Nina, who on earth are you? I don't think I'm going to get... I think so. I don't think anything we know about him is real at all. I think it's on purpose. That's why I don't trust the Prime Minister, because he's the Prime Minister's secretary. And, you know, you'd think someone that close to the Prime Minister would have their background checked and double-checked. And, you know, I just don't trust it. Right, let's see what they say about Eiko's murder. Under the direction of Tokyo District Public Prosecutor Kuri Maguro, I performed an autopsy on the patient who is suspected of dying an unnatural death. The details are as follows. Eiji Shiratsu, 52 years old, office worker, Tokyo. So that's a representative. Submission date, 25th of October, 2023. Name, age, occupation, residence. Eiko Shiratsu, 27 years old, private secretary, Tokyo. Date of death, the 24th of October, 2023. Location of the body and its condition. Site of Omuta Industries. Condition of the body. Death by crushing due to large weight. The cause of death was crushing. Yuika even said it looked like her body had been crushed by a huge rock from above. Applied mainly to the upper body. So it's part of a long story. So after a mysterious pandemic hit Japan, before that there was some sort of cult within the government, or that was manipulating the previous government or something like that. And this investigative team were trying to catch them. And then eventually the leader of the investigative team got arrested and they disbanded. But the psychic cult, it's a cult of psychics, so they wanted to make everybody a bit like Magneto, wanted everyone to have special powers, psychic powers. But it was a cult, so it kind of damaged a lot of people psychologically and all that stuff. No pun intended, but well, whatever. Anyway, and so your character is part of this disbanded investigative team who are still trying to investigate anything that leads to this psychic cult, which they know is still around. So what they do is they investigate cases which the police just put out as, closed as no leads and stuff like that. And it turns out that some of the cases that you were getting were not so straightforward, and they were being mislabeled as acts of terrorism and stuff like that. And it turns out that something was happening, and other people were taking the fall for what was happening in reality. So what's happened now is one of the cases was the deputy prime minister was kidnapped, and the guy that you said looks like Loki was accused of it. But it turns out that the secretary, which was with him at the time, now we've just found out he's a psychic, and there's something deeper that connects all the cases, and which are linked to this psychic cult, and that most of the people were either affected or innocent. And of course, this lady was murdered during the time the deputy prime minister went missing. So, exactly. So I'm trying to find out who this guy is, and then what happened to this woman who was with them. How many minutes would you say the food we had to still go for? Okay. The frontal bone of the skull was fractured due to an impact, equivalent to 600 kilograms, likely resulting in instantaneous death, ruled death by crushing. Numerous injuries, including fractures and ruptured internal organs, due to large applied weight, mainly in the upper body. Glasses and other belongings left next to body. In addition, no object seemed to have caused death of crushing found around the crime scene. Fractured frontal bone, fractured ribs, ruptured internal organs, fractured fibula. I thought they said it was all upper body, I suppose concentrated. Fractured femur, compression fracture to spine, compression fracture to... I think it was Nina. But there's no surprise there, really. Okay. Yeah, be right back, guys. I'm back. Now, we checked all the places the documents had on Nina, but found no leads. We still have his photo, but would that really have any clues? Thank you. Oh yeah, it's bursting down with rain. Poor George got so soaked. Wet straight through 4 layers of clothes. He looked like he'd gone for a swim. In his clothes. Really? Oh. Yeah, it's pretty wet. Yeah. Poor guy. Yeah, it's all down here in the south at the moment. You guys might get a bit of snow. Yeah, it's quite. I mean, I can't tell if it's cold either, or if it's just. That's done nothing. Cat caretaker silver trophy. Can't go out. What am I meant to do? Is that a badge on his suit lapel? That's not a parliamentary badge. Let's figure out what kind of badge it is. Interesting. Okay. I did an image search of the badge. That mark appears to be the emblem of a non-profit called Shinsei Group. I know of the Shinsei Group. I've heard their name several times at expert meetings on infectious diseases. Have you ever met a member of the Shinsei Group at those meetings? No, I've only heard the name, but the government must also have worked on disease countermeasures. If the government had close ties with the Shinsei Group, Nina might have visited them as a secretary. The non-profit register should be kept at the Legal Affairs Bureau with jurisdiction. Give me a minute. As usual, government security is full of holes. Using 3-tier architecture doesn't work if you don't know what it means. Got it. I'm sending you the Shinsei Group's registry. There's a good chance that the Shinsei Group knows where Nina is. Let's investigate the Shinsei Group's registry. Okay. Right. Primary office is in Nishiazabu, Minatoku, Tokyo, Platinum Palace, Nishiatsubu. Natsubu? Atsubu.
なるほど。
That's the address of the Shinsei group. It might be worth looking into. Right. June the 15th, 2021. After the pandemic.
そうね。
2021. So the Shinsei group was established a year after the new cabinet was put in place. Purpose of the or function. This organization will engage in activities primarily aimed at preventing the spread of the new infectious disease and reducing the social impact of the new infectious disease.
なるほど。
Just as Dr. Totsuka said, the Shinsei group has been working to prevent the spread of the pandemic. There isn't anything unusual in their activities based on the register. This organization shall engage in the following types of specific non-profit activities to achieve the above objective. Collection of information on infectious disease, examination of measures to prevent infectious disease and their spread, education and notification measures to prevent infectious disease, planning of administrative support, work related to post-infection, participation in expert meetings on infectious disease, management and distribution of pharmaceutical products, support for medical supplies. Medical Corporation Sanko Pharmaceuticals. Hey, that was the first
これは
Sanko Pharmaceuticals. Isn't that the company in Shinjuku from the spontaneous human combustion case? So Sanko Pharmaceuticals helped establish the Shinsei group. This can't be just coincidence.
いいですか？
I looked up the address in the register and it was for a room in an apartment building. All that there is an online shopping company unrelated to the Shinsei group or even the pandemic. The name of the person living there didn't even match the name of the Shinsei group representative. The company itself doesn't exist.
そうですね。
Yeah, this company doesn't exist outside the register. Let's go to Sanko Pharmaceuticals and hear what they have to say. They might know something about the Shinsei group or Nina. You can call Yuika on the way and meet her. Shinjuku, Tokyo, Sanko Pharmaceuticals head office.
公安調査庁の木島という社長の水木河川氏に会いたい。
My name is Kijima from the Public Security Intelligence Agency. I'd like to see President Kasen Mizuki.
お約束はされていますでしょうか？
Do you have an
約
appointment?
束はしていないが緊急の要件だ。取り次ぎを頼む。
No, but this is an emergency. Please let him know.
申し訳ございません。
I'm very
本
sorry.
日水木は予定が塞がっ
The
ておりま
President's
して
schedule is full
改
today.
めて活
We'll
躍
contact you when...
私たちはメディアの取材じゃないんだ。調査中の事件について聞きたいことがある。
This isn't some interview request. We have some questions regarding an ongoing
今
investigation.
すぐ社長に取り継いでもらいたい。
Please get a hold of the President immediately.
そのようにおっしゃられても困ります。
I'm
水木に
sorry,
も予定というも
but
の
the
がござい
President's
ますので
schedule won't allow for it.
改めてこちらからご連絡させ
We
て
can
いただき
contact you
ます
when there's an opening.
ご連絡先をいただいてもよろしいでしょうか？
May I have your information? Ugh.
冷静沈着な木島の嬢ちゃんがそんなに焦っているとは。
Never thought I'd see someone as calm and collected as you get that frustrated, Miss
ど
Kijima.
うやら俺たちがこの場所にたどり着いたのは
Guess that means coming here wasn't a waste.
お前もそう思うだろうなあ清原。
Don't you agree, Kiyohara?
みたいですね。まさかニーナと参考製薬に接点があったとは思いませんでしたけど。
Sure seems like it. Didn't expect Nina to have a connection with Sanko Pharmaceuticals.
おい受付の姉ちゃん。俺は新宿署の元らだ。
Hey, Miss Receptionist. I'm Inspector Motora from the Shinjuku
公務執
PD.
行妨害でしょっぴかれたくなけりゃすぐに社長を呼んでこ
If you don't want to be charged with obstruction of justice, then get the President out here now.
い。でなきゃこっちから直々に呼びに行ってもいいんだぜ。
Or should I go get him myself?
はい少々お待ちください。
No, that won't be necessary. One moment, please.
令状もないのに押し入ったら こっちが捕まりますよ。
You know we're the ones who'll be in trouble if they found out we don't have a warrant, right?
嘘も方便だよ。方便。
Lying can be a good strategy sometimes.
なぜここに。
Why are you here?
ニーナの行方を追うために関係者を洗っていたんだが、
We're trying to find Nina by questioning his
新
associates.
生会って名前だけの幽霊 NPO 法人が浮かび上がってきてな。
The name of a shell non-profit called the Shinsei Group came
調
up.
べてみたら、この参考製薬が資金投入しているって話じゃねえか。
We looked into it and found Sunko Pharmaceuticals was providing them
こ
funding.
いつは話を聞いてみないとならねえと思って来てみたら、見た顔が受付で揉めてたって。
Figured we should come check it out and found you fighting with the receptionist.
そっちの二人は総理官邸前で見かけた記者じゃないか。
Aren't those
なんで
two
木島と一緒にいるんだ？
the reporters from the Prime Minister's place? Why are they with you?
私たちは記者じゃないです。
We aren't reporters.
記者じゃない？
You
何
aren't?
者だ？
Then who are you?
探偵？
私は秋葉友奈と言います。
My name is Tomana
私た
Akiba.
ち二人とも岩井探偵事務所のものです。
We're both from the EY Detective Agency.
岩井探偵事務所ってお前。
EY Detective Agency. Wait, you're...
岩井といえば、国家転覆を狙ったテロ容疑で有罪になった探偵じゃ。
Isn't EY that detective who got arrested and was found guilty of terrorism against the state?
木島、お前さんが一人じゃないって言っていたのは。
Kijima, when you said you weren't alone, you didn't mean...
そういうことだ。
Yeah, I meant them.
それじゃ、この二人はテロリストの一味ってことじゃ
Then
ないですか。
aren't these two working for a terrorist?
まさか、一
Wait,
連のテロ
are
事
you
件にも
involved in the
関
string
わ
of
って。
terror?
バカ野郎。
You idiot.
短絡的に事件を考えるなっていつも言ってんだろ。
Don't always say not to jump to conclusions. You're a detective.
すいません。
なるほど。そういうことか。
So that's how it is.
俺も岩井の件は何か裏があると思ってたんだよ。
I always thought there was more to EY's
事件に
case.
対する警察やマスコミの対応が早すぎるし、何より岩井がテロを行う理由がそもそもない。
The police acted, and the police and media acted too quickly back then, and EY had no reason to turn to terrorism.
モトラさん、それってどういう？
Sir, what do you mean by that?
岩井ははめられた。つまり、誰かの意図がそこに働いていると考えていいだろうよ。
I think EY was set up, that someone arranged for everything to play out like it did.
新宿署の刑事にしておくには惜しい人材だな。
You're pretty good for a Shinjuku PD detective.
やかましい。
Ah, save it.
木島、お前さんが何を追っているのか、
In that case, I think I know what you're after,
こ
Kijima.
の二人と一緒に追ってい
The
るわけ
psychic's
か。
cult, right?
異能教団
And these two are helping?
教団は解散したが、教団が行っていた実験や研究の後始末はまだ終わっていない。
The cult was disbanded, but the fallout from their experiments still needs cleaning up.
それって。
You mean
教団の山野井の異能力者を生み出す実験は
the
成功してい
cult's
たんです。
Yamanoi's experiments into creating psychics succeeded?
異能教団が崩壊し、山野井が失踪したのと同時に異能力者の行方もわからなくなった。
After the cult was destroyed and Yamanoi disappeared, we lost track of the psychics.
私たちはこの国で起こる不可解な事件を調査することで、
We've been
ずっとそ
looking
の異能力者の痕跡を
we've been
探してい
looking
ま
for
した。
clues as to their whereabouts by investigating bizarre, unsolved cases.
異能力者が私たちの敵なのか味方なのかわからないけど、
We don't know if the psychics are friend or foe.
その人が山野井の実験の犠牲者であれば、私たちが保護して。
If they're victims of Yamanoi, then we have to help them.
でも、もし山野井の意志を継いで何かを計画しているのだとしたら、
However,
止めなければならない
if they're following in his footsteps and planning something, then we will stop them,
私たちの手で。
whatever it
ま
takes.
さか、それがニーナ。
And you think Nina's one of them?
公安調査庁や警察に送られてきたディスクの映像をこの人たちに解析してもらったところ
Jane and Tomona analyzed the disc sent to the Public Security Intelligence
映像加
Agency.
工されたり VFX などで作られたものではないという結果が出ている
They found no signs that it had been tampered with or that it was made by using video
つま
effects.
りあの映像は紛れもなくあの場所で起きた事実である可能性が
Which means that video was almost certainly a record of what really happened.
誰かが終わらせなければならないんです。私たちはそのために動いています。
Someone has to put an end to this. And that's our goal.
正義感ってやつか。
Your sense of justice, then.
お前さん、そんな風に正義感を振りかざしていると早死にするぜ。
You know you're rushing into an early grave if you let that control you, yeah?
これは異能教団の事件に関わった私たちの使命でもあり、願いでもあるんです。
This is our duty and our greatest wish as those caught up in the psychic's cult case.
うん。
副総理誘拐事件の裏に異能力者がいたということは他の事件にも関わっていると考えていいだろう
If the psychic was behind the abduction of the deputy prime minister, we can assume the same for the other cases
一
too.
刻も早くニーナの行方を
We
探
need
し
to
出す
find
必要
Nina as soon as
なる
possible.
ほどな。
I see.
いいだろう。俺もそういうのは嫌いじゃね。
Alright then, I have no objections to.
わかりました。
You
僕た
got
ち
it.
も協力します。
We'll help you.
ここは手を組んで必ずニーナ・ハイドを探し出しましょう。
If we work together, I'm sure we can find Haido Nina.
清原。
Did you really have to steal my
俺がいい
thunder,
こと言おうと
Kiyohara?
したのに、お前な。まあ、いい。俺たちはニーナを
We
捕まえ
want to catch Nina.
お前さん
You
た
want
ち
to
は
catch the
異能力者を
psychics.
捕まえたい。どうやら
That means we're
目
after
的
the
は同じら
same
しい。
thing.
そういうことになるな
That sums it up.
お待たせいたしました。ご案内いたします。
Sorry for the wait. President Mizuki will see you now. Damn it.
捕まってたまるか。
You won't catch me.
たまるかよ。
You never will.
どうしました？体調でも悪いんですか？
Is something wrong? Are you not feeling well?
ご家族が近くにいるんですか？
Is your family nearby?
体調も悪そうだし、ちょっと交番まで一緒に行きましょうか。
You don't look so good. Will you come with me to the police box?
こちら新宿西口オーガード。
I'm at the Shinjuku West exit overpass with an adult man who isn't feeling well.
ただいまより駅前交番へ同行します。繰り
I'm
返
not. I'm not taking him to the police box by the station. I repeat.
す。なんだ今の。
What was that?
俺は捕まらない。
You won't catch
俺
me.
は捕まらない。
You won't catch me.
まさか今のはお前が。
No way. Was that you?
俺は捕まらない。
You won't
捕まってたまるか。
catch me.
見たか、俺の力を。ざまあみろ。
Did you see my power? Serves you right. Damn it.
くそ。
お
ニーナさんですか。その秘書官の方とはあまり面識はないですね。
Mr. Nina, I'm not well acquainted with the Prime Minister's secretary.
ニーナはそちらが資本投入している新生会という NPO 法人に顔を出していたようですが。
Mr. Nina was present at a non-profit called the Shinsei Group, which you have provided funds to.
確かに新生会の設立に我が社は関わっていますが、運営には関わっておりません。
Our company was involved in the founding of the Shinsei Group, but not its
ま
operations.
してや、どのような人間がメンバーにいるかなど知る
So
由も
I
あり
would
ませ
certainly
ん
have
な。
no information on any potential
新生
members.
会の事務所に行ってみたが、そこには全く関係ない別の会社が入っていた。
We visited the Shinsei Group's office, but there was a completely unrelated company at that
資
address.
本を出しておきながら知らないは通用しねえだろうよ。
You gave them funds, so you couldn't possibly be unaware of that.
我が社は日本の未来を変えうる技術を持った企業や
Our company provides support for many businesses and
未来に
groups.
向けた取り組みをしている様々な団体に支援をしています。
That deal in groundbreaking technology or other aspects important to Japan's
その
future.
数は1000社を超え、そのすべての内容を把握するのは不可能です。
With over 1,000 such firms, I couldn't possibly know the details regarding all of them.
我が社が支援した新生会なる団体がそのようなことになっているのは甚だ残念でなりません。
It is truly regretful that the Shinsei Group would turn out like that despite our support.
もし仮にニーナなる人物の情報が入ったらすぐにご連絡を差し上げるようにします。
If I receive any information related to Mr. Nina, I will notify you right away.
では私は次の会議がありますので今日はこの辺で。
Now, I must head to my next meeting, so we'll leave it at that for today.
今日はお忙しいところありがとうございました。
Thank you for your
で
time.
は、私たちは失礼します。
We'll take our leave.
あっと、そうだ。
Oh, one last thing.
鎌倉総理大臣は確か議員になる前はこちらが経営している病院の医師だったとか。
Prime Minister Kamakura was a doctor at one of your hospitals before he became a legislator, right?
はい、そうです。よくご存知で。
Yes, that's correct. You're well
今
informed.
でも連絡を取り合ってるとか。
Are you still in contact with him?
いいえ、彼も今や総理大臣。仕事が忙しいのでしばらく話はしていません。
No, he's the Prime Minister after all. I'm sure he's busy, so we haven't talked in a long
なる
time.
ほど。
Alright,
では我々はこれで。
that's all from us.
ニーナの行方に関する手がかりは得られずですね。新生会についてもうちょっと捜査しますか。
That didn't give us any info on where Nina could be. Should we look into the Shinsei group
末
again?
端の人間は捕まえられるかもしれねえが、ニーナがどこにいるのか知ってる奴がいるかだな。
Even if we cannot find someone involved, there's no guarantee you'll find us. That's true.
モトロだ。今新宿だ。何
It's Motoro.
死体？
I'm in Shinjuku now. What, a body?
分かった。今からそっち
Got
に
it.
行く。
We're on our way.
何かあったんですか？
Something
オ
happened.
ーガードのところで警ら中の
They found a dead officer at the overpass. We're heading over there now.
今から現場に向かう。お前さんたちとはここでお別れだ。
We're splitting up from here. See you.
私たちも一旦事務所に戻るしかないわね。
I guess all we can do is head back to the office.
ニーナをどうやって探し出すか。
Let's discuss how to smoke out Nina. Welcome to the EY Detective Agency. My name is Tomona. On one hand, you can go back to living your life without obtaining any answers. On the other, you can pursue the truth, but those peaceful days will never return. I may not be an officer for an occult expert, but I am a detective. Abandoning a case in the middle of the investigation is against my policy as a detective.
その異能教団について調べてほしいというわけですね。
そういうことです。
まず第一に今回調べた事故死および自殺と認定された人たちは全員が人生に絶望していた点、変わりたい、別の人間になって人生をやり直したい、もっとマシな人間になりたい。They wanted to change. People who wanted to change an occult that worships psychic powers. Sorry, I looked away for a second. So the cult lured them in with rosy promises. The coroner testified that all the victims had an enlarged prefrontal cortex. The prefrontal cortex. I think I read about human experiments conducted on that part of the brain during the war. This cult seems even darker than we could have imagined. Even if you're right and he was killed, then this would be a provocation to not only the Metropolitan Police, but to Japan's entire police force. I understand your proposal in wanting to take up this investigation. Fine then. Pick up where it left off. Thank you. There's evidence that Yamanoi organized a cult around psychics and took part in inhumane and illegal activities. It's not just the risk of terrorism on a national scale. We suspect Yamanoi is also involved with photos of the bodies appearing on the dark web. You cannot possibly catch me. Divine punishment shall befall you. Soon it will be born. Just a little longer. Just a little longer until humanity reaches new heights. Behold, this life form that is smaller than even 1 micrometer. It enters the human body and continuously multiplies through cell division, causing mutations in its host. I've seen people who believe that the unknown areas of the brain are the key to human evolution. In other words, they believe that they can create superhumans, people with psychic powers. Keeping silent isn't the way to atone for your father's crimes. As the son of a researcher, there are ways in which only you can help. You can use your father's research to fight against crime. My father always said that his job was saving lives. I should have stopped him from taking the wrong path. Tomona, you have talent as a detective, but you're too much of a straight shooter. Your sense of justice will cause you to hesitate when faced with tough decisions. Your enemies will take advantage of it. I don't know the details behind the psychic's cult, but I do know what they
and the psychics they're trying to create. Maybe a threat to peace and order in the world. Just like everyone here, I want to stop a future like that from becoming reality. With this, not only can we prove what the cult's plans are, but also what the police are colluding with them. The world was so close to purification, so close to rebirth through the evolution of mankind. What the hell have you done? They're just psychic powers. Who do you think provided them? If you'd like, I can give you whatever powers you want. Iwai, stop! Yamanoi must be judged by the law. There are people whose hearts break every day at their memory, whose tears will never dry as they continue to suffer. Go to hell. At 6:32, Kenji Iwai was taken into custody for kidnapping and murder, violating the Firearms and Swords Act and unlawful entry. They have a Firearm and Swords Act? We can't do this without you. You have to come back to us. I'm surprised we don't have a Swords Act. Sorry, this is so sudden. But there's only one reason I've called you all here today. We finally found a lead on a possible psychic. Oh. I see. That means all our work so far wasn't for nothing. We finally found one. The suspected psychic's name is Haido Nina, one of the Prime Minister's secretaries. He went missing after attending one of the Prime Minister's speeches. Did any of the cameras catch where he went? They were all broken. He probably knew that his movements could be traced using the security footage. See. Yeah. It's the square one there by your guitar. I guess he figured out how we operate. I checked the footage and it looked like someone suddenly set off a huge shockwave. I know what you look like, mate. You're our next door neighbor for the past 3 years. Our next door neighbor for 3 years. Does that mean he really is a psychic? It looked like psychokinesis to me. You mean... Psychokinesis. The power to move objects with your mind. It's called PK for short. Who's club? Be right back with... I don't want to pause yet, but I do have to go and sort dinner out. Bear with me for a couple minutes. Right, I'm back. Thank you for your patience. I just had to finish my dinner. I don't want to be chewing in your ears. But let's carry on. So psychokinesis is the power to move objects with your mind and is called PK for short.
すべての物体は微弱電流などのエネルギーを発していて、そのエネルギーと脳波を同期することで
All objects have microcurrents or other energy running through them. The theory behind psychokinesis is that a person can move objects without touching them by synchronizing their brain waves with those energies.
非科学的な話だと思われがちですが、実際脳に電極を埋め込むことでニューロンにアクセスしたり
It sounds like pseudoscience, but by implanting electrodes in the brain to access the
脳波を
neurons,
読み取ったりして接続されたコンピューターなどの機器を操作することに成功しています。
read brainwaves, people have been able to successfully operate computers.
これらはブレインマシンインターフェース BMI と呼ばれ
It's called brain machine interface, or BMI for short.
身体障害者や脳疾患者などの機能補助にも役立てられようとしています。
Used to help people with disabilities or brain disease.
念動力という言葉のすべては眉唾ではないということです。
Psychokinesis isn't really just a fantasy anymore.
それじゃあ、あの映像に映っていたのはやっぱり
Which means that video really was.
異能力の可能性が高いと考えていいと思います。
I think the possibility of psychic powers is high.
ニーナが遠くに逃げる前に居場所を突き止める必要がある。
We need to find Nina before he gets too far away.
そう
You're right.
ニーナがどこへ消えたのか、それを一緒に考えてほしくてみんなを呼んだの。
We called all of you here, so we could figure out where he went together. What have you seen?
そういえば神社で境内を掃除している時に一瞬だけ何か
She
強い
was right the
力を
first
感
time
じ
with
ました。
where the Prime Minister had gone, the Deputy Prime Minister. Actually, I do remember feeling a strong energy briefly while I was cleaning the shrine.
それは何時ぐらい？
What time was that?
確か午後2時か
Around
3時
2 or
ぐらいだったと
3 in
思
the
います。
afternoon?
午後2時か3時。
2 or 3 in the afternoon.
新宿のオーガードで警官の遺体が発見された時間と近い。
That's around the time when the officer's body was found at the Shinjuku overpass.
それって私たちが三幸製薬に行った時にモトラさんたちに連絡が入った事件のこと？
Wasn't that what Inspector Motara got a call about when we were at Sanko?
ああ、そう。
That's right.
もしかしたらニーナが異能力を使った
Maybe
のか
Nina
も
was
しれない。
using his powers.
他には何か感じなかった？
Do you feel anything else?
すぐに強い力は消えてしまって、でも何か変な感じでした。
The energy disappeared immediately, but it did feel somewhat strange.
変な感じ。
Strange? How?
まるで線香花火が落ちる直前に一瞬だけ強い光を放って消えるような。
Like a sparkler emitting one final bright flash before finally going out, or something like that.
それってもう光らない。
You mean like it would never shine again?
何を意味しているのかは分かりませんが、ただ光が
I don't know what it means, but it felt like the light was slowly dying out.
もしかしてニーナの身に何かあったのかしら。
Could that indicate that Nina's condition is worsening?
防犯カメラを調べてニーナの行方を追うことはできないかしら。
Are you sure we can't trace Nina with the security cameras?
日本に設置されている防犯カメラの数は約
There are around 5 million security cameras in Japan.
そのうち東京に設置されている
About
防犯カメラは
50,000 of those are in
約5万台
Tokyo.
ということですにもかかわらず失踪者や行方不明者が後を絶たず
But despite that, many missing persons and wanted criminals still can't be found.
指名手配犯が未だに捕まっていないのは
You know why that is?
資格があるからです
The reason is blind spots.
防犯カメラといっても全ての場所を映しているわけではないんです。
Security cameras don't record what's happening in every single
デ
place.
ータに防犯カメラに映るようなヘマはしないでしょう。
Nina disappeared because he's been careful not to be caught on by any cameras.
なるほどね。
I see. But if you go from where he went and then the overpass where you obviously know where the overpass is. I would have gone and like check what happened at the overpass. Okay. His last known location. Track that between the overpass. You know which direction he's moving in. Right, what do you think, Yusuke?
異能教団から姿を消した異能力者は基本的に脳外科手術や薬物投与によって
We suspect that the psychics had their powers awakened by the cult through the use of brain surgery or drugs.
その異能力を覚醒させたのでしょう。つまり彼らは人為的に作られたということです。
In other words, they were artificially induced.
大量の薬物を投与され続けた人間は薬物が切れると禁断症状が出たり
People go through withdrawal if they are cut off from a drug they had previously been taking in large doses.
定期的に摂取しないと精神的及び身体的に異常をきたすケースも症例として出ています。
Regularly, symptoms include both mental and physical abnormalities.
それって
You mean?
そうです。
Yes.
一般的に
It's commonly known as substance dependence.
薬物依存には薬物の使用を意思でコントロールすることができなくなる精神依存と
Psychological dependence would be an inability to control the intake of a drug.
薬物を摂取しないと体の震えや悪寒などの身体的異常が出る身体依存があります。
Indications of physical dependence include symptoms like tremors or chills.
異能力者の力が薬物投与によって与えられたものであるなら
Got their powers from taking drugs.
体に通常では考えられない異変が起きてもおかしくないと思っています。
Exhibit symptoms that we may not typically see,
頭が爆発するとか
like their heads exploding.
確かにそういう映画もありましたが何が起きるかは私にも分かりません。
Things like that in movies, but I'm not sure what might happen here.
今警察だけでなく古巣の公安でもニーナの行方を追っている。
Now, both the police and my friends at the agency are looking for Nina.
ニーナが副総理誘拐だけでなく航空機撃墜事件にも関与しているとなれば
Involved in both the deputy prime minister's abduction and the plane crash.
ことは単なる犯罪ではなくこの日本国に対するテロということになる。
Any ordinary criminal. He's committed acts of terrorism against Japan.
ようやく警察も公安も異能力者という存在を追わなければならなくなった。
The police and the agency will finally have to recognize the existence of psychics.
ただまだ彼らの中には異能力を信じていない者が多い。
There are still many among them who don't believe it. That will be a hindrance in finding Nina.
神も悪魔も信
You
じないもの
can't
には
see what you
見えない
don't believe.
私は新宿のオーガードで起きた事件について情報を集めてみる。
I'll try to gather information on the Shinjuku overpass incident.
僕はネットに何か変わった投稿がされていないか調べてみますよ。
I'll look online for any posts that seem out of the
異
ordinary.
能力者が薬物依存だとしたら薬物を入手しようとするかもしれない。
He has a substance dependence due to his powers. He may attempt to obtain
医療関
medicine.
係にそういう動きがないか聞いてみます。
Contact in the medical field if there has been any movement.
私は神社に戻りますが、また何か強い力を感じたら連絡します。
Turning to the shrine, but I'll let you know if I sense anything else.
みんなよろしくね。私たちも引き続き 手がかりがないか調べてみるわ。
Everyone, we'll keep looking for clues. Are you Jane Doe?
俺を探しているようだな。
Seems like you're looking for me.
俺はニーナだ。
Me, I'm Haido Nina.
今から1時間後、12時に新宿中央公園へ来い。
Come to Shinjuku Central Park in 1 hour at noon.
警察や公安調査庁の女には言うなよ。
You better not tell the
俺を
police
捕まえようなどとか思わないことだ。
or that agency woman, and don't even think of trying to catch me.
お前といつも一緒にいる女と二人で来い。
Just you and that woman you're always with.
もし他のやつを連れてきたら、公園にいる連中を皆殺しにして。
If you bring anyone else, I'll kill everyone in the park and disappear.
お前たちは俺と話がしたいはずだ。
I know you want to talk to me,
能力者である俺と。
since I'm a psychic and all.
いいな。1時間後だ。2人だけで来い。
1 hour, got it? Just the two of you. Okay, I can't go anywhere else, so let's go. I don't have a choice. I don't see him yet.
ニーナはここに来いって言っていたの。
I really told you to come here?
こんな白昼の公園で待ち合わせなんて、警察に捕まえてくれと言っているようなものね。
Meeting at the park in broad daylight is like asking to be caught by the police.
一体どういうつもりかしら。
What is he planning? Over here. Oh my god, look how he looks.
騒ぐなよ。大声出したらこの女の背中にナイフが突き刺さるぜ。
Why has he aged so much in the past few hours? Don't yell, don't call for help, or else I'll stick a knife in this woman's back.
誰なの？
Who are you?
お前たちが探している人間だよ。
Person you've been looking for.
まさかニーナ・ハイド。
You're Haido Nina?
あなたがニーナのはずがない
Can't
わ。
be.
まるで別人じゃない。
You look completely
年齢
different.
も違いすぎるわ。
And you're too old. I think he ages the more he uses his powers.
さよだ。
It's the side effects.
副作用。
Side effects?
山野井の研究は不完全だったんだよ。
Yamanoi's research was incomplete.
山野井はいろいろな人間を誘拐しては薬物投与と人体実験を繰り返し異能力者を作り出そうとした。
He abducted many people for all his experiments and drug tests. all to turn them into psychics.
その結果、
He did
確かに異
succeed,
能力者は誕生したが、
but there was just one
一つの
problem:
問題が発生した。薬物依存だ。
substance dependency.
薬がなければ、異能力だけでなく、精神や体が正常を保てなくなったんだよ。
The drugs, it's not just your powers. Your mind and body deteriorate too.
薬が切れると、幻覚に襲われるもの。薬が切れると、狂ったように暴れ回るもの。
Once they were cut off, some started seeing illusions. Some went violently mad.
そして、
And some
薬が切れると、
started aging unusually
体が
quickly.
老化していくもの。 そうだ。 山の井の野郎は最初から俺たちを薬漬けにして自由を奪うつもりだったんだ。
Yamanoi wanted to turn us into addicts so he could rob us of our freedom.
薬が切れたら俺たちは生きられない。
We can't live without his
この
drugs,
素晴らしい能力を失ってしまう。
and we'd lose these amazing powers too.
薬だ。薬がいるんだよ。
We need his drugs. We need them.
教団の事件が明るみになり、山の井は警察に捕まるはずだった。
After the cult came to light, Yamanoi should have been caught by the
そう
police.
ならないように俺が助けてやったんだ。
I helped him avoid that with my powers.
それなのにあの野郎、もう薬を作らないとか言いやがって。
Yet that damn Yamanoi refused to make any more drugs.
だから殺してやったのさ。
So
バラバラにしてな。
we killed that bastard and cut him to pieces.
今なんて言ったの？山の井を殺した？
Did you just say? You killed Yamanoi?
気づいてないのか。バカな連中だ。原宿の事件の犯人は自殺したあいつじゃない。
No, idiot. That guy who committed suicide wasn't behind the Harajuku case.
あいつが犯人に見えるように俺たちが仕向けたんだよ。
Made it look like he did it.
それじゃあ、あなたが
Then
山の井
you
を
were the one who...
正確には俺じゃねえ。
Not me, specifically.
だが
But it sure felt good.
あいつがバラバラにされて空から降り注ぐ光景は
Watching him fall from the sky, that is. Piece by piece.
狂ってるわ。
You're insane.
木島さんに連絡を。
Jane, call
見つけ
Yuika.
たと。
Tell her we found...
勝手に喋る
I
んじゃね
didn't
え。
say you could speak.
お前たちが何をやっているのか。
Did you really think that nobody knew what you were up to?
お前たちが
We knew you were looking for us psychics with that woman from the Public Security Intelligence Agency.
異能力者を探していることは知っている。なぜ異能力者を追う？なぜ事件の真相を暴こうとする？
Why are you doing this? Why are you so obsessed with the truth?
何が目的なんだ？
After.
私たちの目的は異能教団の計画を終わらせるためよ。
We want to put an end to the psychic cult's plans.
教団は解散したんだ。それでいいだろう。
The cult was disbanded. Isn't that enough?
なんでしつこく追い続けるんだよ。
Keep chasing after
教
us.
団が山野井一茂が何を作り出したのか私たちには見届ける義務がある。
We have a duty to be a witness to the cult, to what Kazushige Yamanoi created.
命を奪われた多くの人たちのために その人たちもきっと
Everyone who lost their lives. I'm sure it's what they'd want.
多くの人たちのため。死人はただの死人だ。死んだ人間は何も願わない。
Lost their lives? The dead are dead. They have no wishes.
それにもう山の井は殺した。教団の計画も全て終わりだ。
The cult's plans died with him.
そっちへ行け。
That way.
妙な真似をするんじゃねえぞ。俺にはお前たちを殺すことなんて造作もねえんだからな。
Try anything funny. Killing you two would be a piece of cake for
こ
me.
こにお前たちを呼び出したのは。
I called you here to make a deal.
公安調査庁のあの女は取引に応じないだろう。警察もダメだ。
The woman from the agency would never negotiate with me, right? Neither would the police.
善悪を超越し、俺の話を聞き、受け入れてくれるような人間じゃなきゃならない。
Someone who will hear me out without worrying about right or wrong.
つまり、
Someone like me, who works in the
裏の顔を持
shadows.
つ人間だ。俺がお前たちが欲しがっている情報をやる。
The information you
お
want.
前たちは俺が国外へ逃げられるように警察の目を別に向ける協力をしてくれればいい。
All you have to do is misdirect the police so I can escape abroad.
どう
I
だ
don't like that. How about it?
お前たちにとっても
Not a bad deal for
悪い
you.
話じゃないはずだ。
Oh, do I make a deal with him or no? I don't know. I don't know if I want to. Hang on. I don't know. Don't know.
お前もバカな警察と同じか。
So you're just like the stupid police, huh?
とかく
You're
だらねえ。
caught up on good or evil.
そんなことで真実にたどり着けるとでも。
You'll never find the truth that Fine.
取引しましょう。
We can make a deal.
あなたが本当に
Oh,
私
so you
た
make
ち
a deal
の
with him
欲しい情
anyway.
報を
Okay.
提供できるというなら取引
You,
に応じるわ。
you really do have the information we want. We'll take your deal.
いいだろう。
Good to hear.
お前たちは異能力者の情報が欲しいんだよな。教えてやるよ。
You want information on the psychics, right? I'll tell you.
異能力者の情報をな。
I have what you want to know.
他にも異能力者がいるってこと？
You mean there are other psychics?
そうだ。
That's right.
こいつをやろう。
Take this.
これは
What is it?
教団の研究所に保管されていた被験体のファイルのコピーだ。
Copy of the cult's files on its test subjects.
こいつは俺たちを恐喝しようとしていたやつが持っていたものだ。
Come from someone who was trying to blackmail us.
それって廃工場の映像に映っていたフリックベンジ。
You mean Benji Furiku? He was in the footage from the abandoned factory.
ああ、確か
Yeah.
そんな名前だったかな。
That was his name. What is that? Oh.
フリックを殺したの？
Did you kill him?
いや、俺の力で気を失ったんで放
I
っておい
don't
た
know.
んだが、いつの間にか逃げたようだ。
No. I knocked him out with my powers and left him. I guess he ran at some point.
そんなことよりファイルを見てみな。
Forget that. Just look at the file.
そいつはディアブロシーの異能力を持っているやつで、Eと呼ばれていた。
That's E. His powers involve mental hijacking.
いい。
教団の研究所では異能力者をコードネームで呼んでいる。俺は H と呼ばれていた。
Psychics were referred to by code names. In the cult's research, they called me H.
そいつの異能力の詳しい仕組みは知らねえが、手で触れた相手を操れるようだ。
I don't know the specifics about his powers, but he can control others by touching them.
山の湯は皮膚に付着したウイルスが体内に侵食するとかなんとか言っていた。
I said something about a virus that's transferred through skin-to-skin contact.
そんな異能力が？
A power like that exists?
さっき話した原宿の事件で無関係の人間を操って山の湯を殺したのは
Someone had a power like that. In Harajuku, E was the one who killed Yamanoi. He controlled some random guy and had him do it.
E は山の湯の殺害だけじゃなく新宿の事件にも関わる。
He was involved in the Shinjuku cases too.
もう一度調べてみるんだ。
You should take another look.
いいはあなたの仲間じゃないの？
Like your partner?
仲間。
Partner?
俺に仲間なんて。
I work alone. We only cooperate when it's
都合がいい
convenient.
んでつるんでただけだ。それはいいにとっても同じだ。都合が悪くなりゃ容赦なく俺を切り
He's
捨
the
てよう
same.
とするだろう。
He'd throw me under the bus the second things went
あ
bad.
っちが俺を
Which
切り
means
捨てるなら
I don't mind selling him out
俺も
either.
あっちを売るまでよ。嫌な音だぜ。
That sound.
今日のところはここまでだ。明日同じ時間にまたここで会おう。
I have right now. Let's meet here same time
俺
tomorrow.
が提供した情報で真実にたどり着けるかはお前ら次第だ。
Do what you wanted. It's up to you to use it.
取引する権
And don't forget what you promised me. So there are more psychics behind these cases than just Nina.
それも警察や私たちの目を欺いて事件に関わっていたなんて。
And they were able to hide from both us and the police at the same
事
time.
務所に戻ってもう一度事件を洗い直してみるわよ。
Let's go back to the office and look at these cases again.
Soね。
This is the file Nina gave us in Central Park on test subjects that had been held by the cult. Oh my. My goodness. The files have detailed observation notes on each psychic as well as photos and newspaper clippings. The content of the files have been saved to the PC, so let's read them carefully. If all 7 of these files are on psychics, we might have made some big mistakes. So the cult created more than just 1 or 2 psychics. I feel like they should have done this earlier on in the game, not waited till case 5.
それじゃあ
Let's put up documents from each file. Thank you, babe. 7 files and 7 individuals. So they're all psychics. Okay, what is it? Oh, I think they like that. You see if the quality of the last one has gone down. Well, I know that the American version and the European version are different, but since things have changed, you know what I mean? Economically, it might be different. Let's check each of them. Okay, case 5. Tokyo Psychics. I think she just wants to chill now. I think she's had a full-on day. I think it's good, but it's been good. But I think she's been properly tired out today, I think. Okay. Awakening Science Institute. Subject number 11, E. Eiichi Mutsukami. Age 82? He's a kid!
Eh?
He's 82 years old, but he clearly looks like a child in the file. How is this possible? Oh my god. Vision, right 1, left 2. Hearing, right 94, left 98. Height 158 centimeters, male, 45 kilos. No experience or claims of psychic abilities. Well, he's a child. He looks like a child. Have been identified to date. Test plan. The purpose of this experiment is to investigate the possibility of awakening psychic abilities in subjects. ASI researchers will document the neurosurgery, reagent administration, and training of the subjects, and will carefully observe and document any observable changes in the subjects. Cognitive process, interactions, and psychological changes. The experimental design will consist of 3 tests: aptitude, training, and observation. Aptitude. This phase involves a comprehensive assessment of subjects' cognitive functioning, personality traits, and mental health. Testing includes a psychological and physiological review, personality assessment, and evaluation of social and ethical perspectives, as well as a cognitive, brain imaging, and blood tests. The purpose is to establish a baseline for comparison and to determine whether subjects are suitable for the study. Training. Subject will participate in training program designed to develop potential psychic abilities. This training will mainly include objectives related to sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch, as well as perceptual and motor skills. It will be conducted under controlled conditions by ASI researchers. ASI, the Awakening Science Institute. So that's the name of the Psychics Cult research facility. And 2 security personnel. Observation. Regular EEG monitoring. What's an EEG? Let's ask our colleagues. Regular EEG and fMRI scans. In order to observe changes in brain activity during the awakening process. In addition, blood samples will be taken periodically to analyze physiological changes. In order to keep a record of subjects' mental and physical health status, daily interviews and psychological tests will be conducted to observe physical and mental changes during training. All of the above is to see if it is possible for the ASI to manipulate subjects in an interpersonal environment. Yeah, this kid is 82 years old. E for erosion. Guichi Kuraki. Doesn't the psychic's face look familiar? So this one is P. This is Gichi Kuraki. Gichi, the first guy. Gichi Kuraki. Isn't that the name of the victim of the Shinjuku spontaneous human combustion case? Does that mean Mr. Kuraki was a psychic? If so, that shines a completely different light on that case. Oh, his power is pyrokinesis. P for pyro. That means maybe he ignited himself as a, maybe that was like his symptom. No experience or claims of psychic abilities have been identified to date. So I think this is all the same as the last person. Burnt corpse found in building's garbage dump. DNA testing difficult due to loss of entire body. Scorch marks on chair and floor. Well, they didn't manage to do DNA testing, so it could have been a false burning. Dark side of major pharmaceutical company. Indicted due to contents of anonymous letter. Distribution of unapproved drugs. Unknown enzyme that prevents cell aging. Illegal drug identified. Whistleblower, I have the research files on that drug. Then her name is A for arm. Miyu Sangu. Multi-car pileup on expressway. 3 in serious condition.
Hi, stopping away. Hello, boy.
Hmm?
Boy.
My boy?
Boy.
Oh, it's my boy! Test plan. Sorry, I didn't read this. Experiment start date December 15th, 2008. Test plan. Observation. We're back on E. Day 1. Subject exhibits signs of confusion due to decline in cognitive abilities and memory stemming from old age, and neuroimaging reveals significant abnormal brain activity. It was determined that the subject lacked the physical strength required to continue with the experiment and therefore has been switched to a clinical trial for a new drug. Day 14. Surprisingly, subjects' cognitive abilities show slight signs of improvement. Neuroimaging data reveals increased brain activity in areas associated with empathy and social cognition. We will continue to observe the subject to determine the cause of this phenomenon. Day 100. Subjects' cognitive abilities have significantly improved and memory recollection has become clearer. Furthermore, subjects' physical abilities that were once deteriorating due to age have also recovered, and their athletic performance has reached that of a standard 50-year-old. Subjects will undergo experiments to awaken psychic abilities as of today. Day 150. Subject eagerly participates in training and shows interest and enthusiasm. Subject seems to be able to influence their thoughts on other ASI personnel at times, but observations prove difficult to distinguish from normal interpersonal dynamics and social skills. We will continue to examine the correlation between the age reversion phenomenon and psychic abilities. Day 200. Discovered that when subject's hand comes into contact with another person, they are able to affect that person's emotional state and behavior for a certain amount of time. The power to control others? Speaking of which, Nina did mention something like that. When Psychic E touches someone, he can control them for a few minutes. That's how he was involved in Chiyose killing Yamanoi and the CHC case in Shinjuku. Is it possible that this is a sign of a type of empathic or sympathetic ability? Furthermore, age reversion has restored the subject's ability to those of a standard 30-year-old, and their psychic abilities are thought to be correlated with subjects' improved cognitive function. Subjects' physical age is reverted to that of a standard 20-year-old, and at the same time, they have become able to temporarily manipulate another person's mind by just touching them with their hand. Neuroimaging scans show phenomenal neural connection, similar to a younger and healthier brain. Day 300. It is believed that simply by touching another person with their hand, the subject is able to control the person's actions for approximately 6 hours. By control, we mean that the other person's words and actions are being operated by the subject's will. It can be seen from observation reports that the effect dissipates depending on the means and duration of physical contact. So it is possible that some kind of virus transfers through the skin surface and invades the other person's psyche. Viruses on the skin surface are inactivated after approximately 1.8 hours for influenza A viruses and 9 hours for novel infections. Therefore, we must continue to observe the association with survival time on the skin. Conclusion. We have confirmed the awakening of the psychic ability to manipulate the minds of other people through skin contact in the subject. Upon examination, the person being manipulated exhibits altered levels of melanin secretion in their irises. That explains why Yina said that E's psychic ability involves mental hijacking and looks like E can control people for a few minutes by touching them and transmitting a virus that is present on his skin. Nina said that E was involved in both the Shinjuku spontaneous human combustion case and Yamanoi's murder. But is that really possible? Right. During the time of the manipulation, tyrosine, the source of melanin, is a precursor to neurotransmitters and has been shown to return aggression to normal levels in rats and improve mood and cognition function under stressful conditions in humans. It is thought that by manipulating tyrosine, it may be possible to control the behavior of the organism. The ASI has named this psychic ability erosion. Okay. That's everything about him. Let's see about him. There we go. Observation, day 1. First day of administering medication. Subject shows no sign of adverse side effects. Neuroimaging scans show increased activity in the anterior cingulate cortex and insular cortex, areas that regulate body temperature, and an increased thyroid hormone secretion. No major changes in body temperature can be seen. Subject reports feeling intense internal heat during the experiment. EEG numbers show an increased synchronicity of brain oscillations. Body temperature slightly elevated, reaching 38.5 degrees Celsius. Day 30. We will begin concentration training on the subject. EEG shows signs of consistent brainwave pattern. Body temperature rose to 40.2 degrees Celsius. Subject feels warm but not hot. Day 90. Subject shows no signs of progress. Personality, social, and ethical skill test results indicate the subject's distrust of the ASI and ASI researchers. Double dosage of medication, although the subject still refuses to comply. They show significant changes in brainwave patterns. Sudden change in the subject's body. Double the dose of the medication. Subject still refuses to comply. Body change in the subject's sudden change in the subject's body. Body temperature shot up to 500 degrees Celsius. The power to increase one's body temperature? The autopsy report said that the body of the CHC case victim burned at over 1,000 degrees Celsius. That mean neuroimaging scans reveal abnormal activity in the hypothalamus and brainstem, which suggests significant changes in thermoregulation. Is that Kais I'm hearing? Subject claims to have felt a mild fever, but no signs of physical distress could be observed. Subject successfully raised body temperature to 1,000 degrees Celsius. Jesus. No sign of the subject's health or cognitive function being affected by increased body temperature. Jesus. Conclusion. Confirmed that subject can raise their body temperature to up to 1,600 degrees Celsius through focused meditation and mental control. Further research required to understand the underlying mechanism and potential application of the psychic ability. Subject's mental state makes this difficult, but medication and hypnosis may provide a solution. The research team will continue to establish safety protocols for his psychic ability and explore its impact in various fields. ASI has named this psychic ability Pyro. Pyro means fire or high temperature. I don't know. What's the time? Only. Did you have enough to eat? I've already scanned all these. Right, let's check her test plan. Observation report. Subject completes weightlifting test while in good health. EEG and fMRI scans show typical brain activity related to motor control. Subject 40. Subject's muscle tone and endurance has improved after administering medication and conducting experiments. Successfully lifted 300 kilograms. Jesus. What amazing results. So psychic abilities can increase physical strength too? EEG numbers show increased activity in the motor cortex during strength training sessions. Subjects exhibit significant progress in strength training and is able to lift 1 ton. Neuroimaging scans reveal strengthened connections between the motor cortex and other brain regions related to muscle coordination. Furthermore, confirmed an increase in adrenaline after training sessions. Subject successfully lifted 12 tons during supervised training session. EEG and fMRI scans show abnormal neural synchronization and activity in regions of the brain related to movement. In a controlled environment, subject is able to lift 20 tons. It is believed that not only are the arm muscles strengthened, but also the body's muscle tissue is powered up for an instant. We believe a combination of specialized training and mental improvements will result in further potential. This psychic ability can be used not only against another human, but against weapons as well. We will look into potential application for this ability, specifically for battlefield deployment and troop formation. The ASI has named this psychic ability ARM.
なるほど。
This one's called ARM. I don't see any connection between her and any of the cases. Oh, ow. There we go. This one, Yasuzu Suteba. Disappear. D. 40 male, 165 centimeters, 50 kilograms. This is all the same. His test plan. Subject demonstrates concentration skills during first experiment. Neuroimaging scans reveal patterns of increased brain activity in regions associated with relaxation and connection. Subject shows skepticism but is willing to cooperate with the experiment. Subject reports subtle changes to awareness and feeling that their consciousness is leaving their body after feeling lighter during the experiment. EEG numbers show changes in brainwave patterns indicating improved concentration and mental control. Furthermore, they are reported experiencing brief moments of heightened consciousness with ASI researchers during the experiment. Subject was able to successfully turn a part of their body approximately 10% transparent.
これは
The power to make yourself invisible? It's like something out of a movie. Neuroimaging scans show changes in parietal cortex activity, which may be the cause of shifts in body consciousness and perception. Subject is able to successfully turn approximately 60% transparent from their right hand to right elbow. However, there are still many problems with controlling invisibility as it takes 30 days to return to their original state. Subject describes feeling phantasmagoric sensations and losing their sense of body weight upon going invisible. ASI researchers on day 100 report that the subject is no longer visible to the naked eye, successfully turning 100% invisible. EEG and fMRI scans reveal considerable changes in brain pattern activity, with significant shifts in the subject's self-awareness and body language. However, the subject will still struggle to control invisibility duration and intensity and cannot switch between turning visible and invisible at will. Subject is able to remain invisible for extended periods of time, with no signs of physical or mental distress. They are able to control invisibility duration and intensity thanks to their training and show no signs of it affecting their athletic ability. However, perception remains unstable when invisible, so further experimentation is required. That's pretty cool. Alexa, stop. The research team conducted experiments in hopes of understanding the limits and application of invisibility, but were only able to reach a certain level of results. Subject is now able to become invisible with focused meditation and mental control. Since invisibility makes an individual less likely to be detected by others, we will consider this ability for military use, as well as continue to explore other potential applications. This is disappear. Got another unidentified arm found at Minato apartment. Only clothing found at the scene. Right, next guy, clairvoyance. Falling asleep I am. Subject had a correct answer rate of 18% during their first ESP card experiment. What are ESP cards? Shall we ask our colleagues? Do note that the average for this experiment is 20% and the subject falls within that range. '50th ESP card experiment. What was that? 50th ESP card experiment. The correct answer rate is now 22%. Subject still has not greatly exceeded the average. Neuroimaging scans show typical patterns of brain activity associated with visual processing. Subject reports increased concentration during the experiment. EEG numbers show increased activity in the occipital lobe, which suggests enhanced visual processing. Subject provides a vague description of the contents inside a box to ASI researchers. Experiments on improving the subject's concentration and visual stimulation. Neuroimaging scans reveal strengthened connection between the occipital lobe and other regions of the brain associated with awareness and perception. Subject experiences multiple moments of lucidity and is often able to describe the object inside the box more clearly. The power to see through objects? Clairvoyance is a classic psychic power, but I guess it would make guessing cards pretty trivial. Right. Day 60. 1000th ESP card experiment. Correct answer rate of 84%. Furthermore, they could successfully see through opaque objects during a controlled experiment. EEG and fMRI scans show abnormal activity in the occipital and parietal lobes, suggesting a significant increase in visual processing ability. Subject is able to see through to the pattern on 52 cards, arranged face down on a table. Oh my goodness, I'm falling asleep. On day 100, subject demonstrates ability to see through various objects, including dense materials like wood and metal, in a controlled experiment. The research team will continue to explore the possibility for the subject to see through objects and view their hidden components. Confirm that the subject can see through opaque objects. This psychic ability can grow through focused training and concentration exercises and has the potential to be applied in a variety of situations. The research team will continue to study the subject and the potential of their ability to see in the hidden components of objects from a distance. ASI has named this psychic ability clairvoyance. Clairvoyance is the power of second sight. Fire at pharmaceutical warehouse in Koto. Unidentified bird body found at the scene. And this is Nina. Got a tattoo on the side of his head. He is Savior. H. Nina. Since Nina even gave us Fallon's own powers, he must really be backed into a corner. Day 1. Subject exhibits average strength and coordination during physical exam. Despite the subject's rebellious, antisocial, and manic personality traits and mental state, they show enthusiasm and determination towards the experiment. Neuroimaging shows typical patterns in brain activity during concentration and relaxation exercises. Day 10. Made attempts to improve the subject's body and movement control through breathing exercises, but they seem to be uncooperative. Day 12. EEG numbers show increased synchronization of brainwave patterns during experiment. Subject attacked 2 security guards, causing minor injuries. Day 15. Subject attacked a security guard again, causing minor injuries. Detected a subtle vibration nearby during the time of the incident. We will continue to investigate the cause of the vibration. Day 30. Subject shows high concentration skills, and is able to successfully emit some kind of weak but invisible energy from their hand. Is it the power to induce shockwaves? If his shockwaves are strong enough, they might be able to kill someone. EEG and fMRI scans show increased activity in the motor cortex and parietal lobe, and increased thyroid hormone secretion. This suggests the subject's imaginative ability and intent towards emitting the energy has improved. Subject reports a tingling sensation during successful energy emission. In addition, subject speaks excitedly about having acquired power and being able to control their new psychic ability. Day 15. No longer able to confirm energy emission from subject's hand during the experiment. Subject's rebellious and chaotic personality and mental state may be the reason why. If the experiment continues to be at a standstill, disposal of subject number 354 may have to be considered. Subject inflicts minor to serious injuries on a total of 6 people, including 2 ASI researchers, their accompanying security guards, and an additional 2 security guards who rushed to the scene. Surveillance video shows the subject emitting a powerful shockwave. Neuroimaging reveals remarkable synchronization between regions of the brain and associated with intent, concentration, and motor control. Subject feels a growing sense of confidence and euphoria after successfully being able to re-manifest their psychic ability. Subject emits shockwaves from both hands, destroying objects several meters away. Shows sustained manifestation of psychic ability. Neuroimaging scans reveal an abnormal increase in both motor and prefrontal cortex activity, which may explain the enhanced motor control. Subject describes experience as powerful and exhilarating. Conclusion. Confirmed that the subject has awakened the psychic ability to emit powerful shockwaves from both hands and destroy distant objects. This ability is greatly influenced by the subject's emotional state, and it is highly likely that negative emotions like anger, hatred, and murderous impulses are what are being converted into energy. We believe that not only is it important to continue our research in order to understand the full scope of this ability and its potential applications, but that we must also keep in mind how crucial it will be to control the subject. We will continue to conduct research and experiments with a focus on a guideline for potential use going forward. ASI has named the psychic ability Hand. This power is called Hand. In the hidden camera footage from the factory, shockwaves occurred after Nina held out his hands. Savior. The file on this psychic doesn't have a photo. All their personal information is redacted too. I bet you this is the bloody Prime Minister. Nothing was redacted for Nina, so it would likely have happened after it was taken from the cult. Why is this the only file like this? Who is this person? Day 1. Subject feels very anxious. EEG and fMRI scans show no significant deviation from the baseline. Day 7. Subject shows progress in mental training. EEG numbers show a slight increase in gamma brain activity. Day 14. Subject reports experiencing vivid dreams about genetic manipulation. Although there are no observable changes, electroencephalogram reveals increased theta and alpha wave activity. Subject begins at day 21 to show subtle signs of genetic manipulation. If someone could manipulate a person's genes without any specialized tools or equipment, they could become something like a god or a devil. They are able to change the color of the leaves of a plant from green to red through genetic modification by touching it with both hands in a controlled environment. Subject is able to manipulate the color of the plant's leaves with high probability. When the subject is touching the plant, EEG and fMRI scans reveal significant changes in brain activity stemming from strengthened connections in the prefrontal cortex. Subject successfully makes a specific genetic modification to a Drosophila melanogaster fruit fly. EEG and fMRI scans show elaborate changes in neural pathways during modifications. Day 38. Subject's ability to make genetic modifications has reached an astonishing level of precision and sophistication. In a controlled environment, they are able to rewrite the genes of a mouse, transplant it with cancer cells, effectively destroying those cells. Day 40. 13 ASI researchers who were touched by the subject each contracted plague, cholera, and smallpox. All 13 people died. Although we were able to prevent the spread of infections, we must assess the risks involved in proceeding with the experiment. I think he was the reason why we had the pandemic in the first place. Confirm the awakening of the subject's psychic ability to manipulate the genes of others. ASI has named the psychic ability Savior. This part's called Savior, as in a Messiah. It sure is a high and mighty sounding name. What are they supposed to be saving? However, after considering the subject's personality and social ethical skills test results, we have decided to discontinue the experiment on subject 352. We've checked all the files we have on the psychics. The psychics' cult experiments were successful, even more than we could have expected. Nina said that the old cases we investigated involved psychics. Let's take another look at our past cases on the assumption that psychics were behind them. We'll start by reinvestigating the case of the burned corpse found in the Shinjuku Sanko Pharmaceuticals building. Okay. Let's do it. Spontaneous human combustion case. At 6:10 a.m. on September the 5th, the body was found in Sanko's underground parking lot. Oddly enough, everything above the ankles had burned away, but the fire hadn't spread to the surroundings. The deceased is a Sanko Pharmaceuticals employee named Giichi Kuraki, 45 years old. Mr. Kuraki burned to death due to the accumulation of acetone and ethanol in his body. This, combined with the source of the fire, resulted in the high temperatures that burned his body away. That's a summary of the spontaneous human combustion case. But psychics were involved in this case, so our evidence may have been incorrect. Let's revisit our evidence on the assumption that psychics were involved. What was the source of the fire? Mr. Kuraki had the power to greatly increase his body temperature. That means he himself was the source of the fire. What caused the high temperatures needed to burn? It was him again. Oh, it's in his file. Hang on. Mr. Kuraki, Psychic P, had the power to increase his body temperature to extreme levels. In other words, he could have burned himself up using his own powers. But why would he do that? We looked at the testimonies from those he knew before, and it seemed unlikely he would commit suicide. Then did someone kill him? But who? Wouldn't it have been Benji? Would it have been... I don't think it was Haido. I don't see... There was nobody around him. I think it was E. According to his file, E has the power to control any person that he touches, meaning it's possible Mr. Kuraki was controlled by E when he burned to death. Assuming Mr. Kuraki was being controlled by E, where did they come in contact? When did Mr. Kuraki start being controlled? If we figure that out, we'll have proof that E essentially murdered Mr. Kuraki. Now the question is, how do we get proof that someone was being controlled by E? EEG is short for electroencephalography, which is a measure of electrical activity in the brain. It is a device for examining brain activity where electrodes are attached to the head to measure and record brain waves. I see. The record suggests the psychic's cult was measuring their subjects' brainwaves. That's how they try to determine the effect of the drugs and many manifestations of psychic powers. So it appears. fMRI technology uses magnetic resonance to create an image of the brain. For an MRI, the patient lies down inside a cylindrical device and it can similarly be used to scan the brain. But the fMRI is more effective at accurately determining which part of the brain are active. So fMRI technology is also used to look into the brain just like EEG. Looks like the psychic cult was quite scrupulous in studying brain activity. ESP cards are used to test for psychic powers. The psychologist Carl Zener designed them in 1930, so they're called Zener cards. They're simple cards with either a circle, cross, wave, square, or star, and are used to test if a person can see through them when they are face down. So there are specialized cards for that. Can't just use playing cards? I think regular playing cards weren't used because they were too complicated due to all the possibilities. But I would think a person with true clairvoyance would have no problem using playing cards. You want to tell whether a person is being controlled by E's psychic powers? Right. According to the file, the individual known as E has the power to control the secretion of specific substances in the human brain. I suspect that is how he can bend other people to his will. Tyrosine, the source of melanin, is a known neurotransmitter precursor that has been reported to restore normal levels of aggression in animals and to alter emotional and cognitive behavior in humans. In other words, it may be possible to control the behavior of an organism by manipulating tyrosine secretion. Can't believe it. The mechanisms of the brain are largely unknown, but showing visual or auditory hallucination is possible in theory. If you can physically control other people, wouldn't you commit crimes without getting your hands dirty? Yes, that's right. Would a person stay controlled for their entire life? If the virus takes effect after skin-to-skin contact, it should only last until it becomes inactive. In other words, it should only be temporary. I see. So if we can prove that E was controlling someone, is there a way to do that? There's a way. What? The iris is the key. The iris? The iris is the thin colored membrane between the cornea and the lens of the eye. I suspect that if a person is being controlled, then the melanin secretions in their irises may change, affecting their color. Let's ask the mechanic for more details. Can we use the image analysis program to analyze irises? Let's ask our colleagues. Since you asked, I'll explain. Iris color and patterns differ for everyone and can be used for identification like a fingerprint. As the bartender said, if the melanin in the irises of a person being manipulated changes, and if you can determine what that person's iris looked like before and after the change, you would be able to know if they were being manipulated. But how? I'll install some video analysis software that compares irises. The program compares the irises of the person in the video with how it looks in earlier and later frames, and marks the iris if there is a change. So if there are any people in the video whose eyes have been marked, that means they're being controlled by E's psychic ability. Yes, the eyes will look like they're glowing, so it'll be easy to tell. Got it, thanks. Okay. Let's do it then.
それじゃあ
Okay, let's check the security footage for Mr. Kuraki one more time. If he was controlled by E, his eyes should look like they're shining. Look, his eyes are shining. That should mean that Mr. Kuraki was being controlled by E at this time. E's file said he has the power to hijack the minds of the people he touches. Okay. So when he came back, he was still being controlled. The iris comparison program highlighted Mr. Kuraki's eyes. So this is our proof that Mr. Kuraki was being controlled by E's psychic abilities. Are we done reinvestigating the spontaneous human combustion case then? If we're done, let's write up our report and submit to Yuika. Was the victim's death a suicide? No. Was it a homicide? Wait. Is that wrong then? If psychics were actually involved in this case, we might arrive at a very different answer. In other words, it could be both a homicide and a suicide, or a suicide and an accident. There's a chance the truth is closer to something like that. I think it was a homicide. Was it an accident? I don't think it was an accident. Psychics were involved in this case. That means someone was trying to make us think that the victim died in an accident. If a psychic ability was used in the burning of the victim's body, what type of ability was it? Mr. Kuraki was the psychic called Subject P. His ability Pyro allowed him to raise his body temperature to up to 1,600 degrees Celsius. We can then conclude that Mr. Kuraki's own powers were used to incinerate his body. Who was controlling the victim? It seems possible the victim was controlled and forced to burn himself to death. Who do you think was controlling the victim? According to the research records, Subject E has the power to hijack the minds of other people. If E was involved, then there's a high possibility that he could have controlled the victim. What sort of psychic ability was being used to control the victim? Supposing the victim was controlled, how was he being controlled? There is information about Subject E's power in his research records. Subject E has the power Erosion, an ability that allows him to hijack the minds of the people he touches. I think a power like that exists. When did the victim start being controlled? From what point was the victim being controlled? Anything showing he came into contact with Subject E? I don't know, that might not be enough to consider proof. Hmm. Don't know when he touched him. Hmm. Hmm. Babe, where's my phone? Where's my phone? Ah, never mind. Sorry, you can lie back down. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure something out. I've missed some evidence. I've missed some evidence. Someone here might touched him. That's a kid.
これは
The boy is E from Files on the Psychics. Can't believe E made physical contact with Mr. Kuraki here. The woman with him probably isn't E's mother. I think we can assume she's under his control. Is there evidence that can prove the victim was being controlled? The glowing eyes, isn't it? Dr. Totsuka and Ryuichi said melanin secretions in the iris change when people are under E's control. Apparently the iris comparison program detects these changes and highlights their eyes with a glow. This image of the victim's eyes glowing is proof that he was under E's control. What did the victim know that caused him to be murdered? Why did the psychic murder Mr. Kuraki? Did Mr. Kuraki find out something he was not supposed to know? Perhaps it was something that could prove their existence. He was doing a lot of projects and he was working for... knew the Shinsei group wasn't real. Nina was connected with the Shinsei group, and the Shinsei group was connected to Sanko. So if Mr. Kuraki was aware Sanko Pharmaceuticals was involved with psychics, it's not hard to believe their aim to silence him and prevent that information from leaking. Should we send this to Yuika? Perspective. Next is when severed body parts rain down from the sky on a Harajuku intersection. Oh, I'm so tired. Guys, I might take this to my bedroom. And we still have this one and another one, the bombing, the missile, kidnapping, and everything to go by. So please, will you excuse me and let me go to bed? So, the Tokyo Far-Front Skies case. It was cloudy on October 9th at 7 p.m. when severed body parts fell on a Harajuku intersection. A court ordered autopsy on the mutilated body, which was missing its head, identified it as belonging to the founder of the psychics cult, Kazushige Yamanoi, who was on the run from the police. Yamanoi was killed by Yuzuru Chiyose, 23-year-old who was a student at a university in the city. We believe Chiyose used the wind and a drone to carry the severed body parts and drop them over the intersection in Harajuku. When the police stormed Chiyose's home, they found he had already taken his own life. At Chiyose's home, they found a suicide note and the missing head from Yamanoi's body. From the contents of the note, the police concluded that Chiyose had a grudge against Yamanoi and killed him. That's a summary of the Tokyo Far-Front Skies case. But psychics were involved in this case. Nina said that E took control of an unrelated person and used them to kill Yamanoi. Unrelated meaning that under normal circumstances they wouldn't have gone as far as murder. That means Yuzuru Chiyose, right? In that case, psychics would be involved in Yamanoi's murder and Chiyose's suicide. It's possible that the evidence we had before was wrong. Let's revisit our evidence on the assumption that psychics were involved. And with that, I am going to save and go and have a nice hot bath and get into bed. I am tired. Thanks for joining me anyway. Take a nice twist.
Psycho-demic.
And I will see you all tomorrow for a little bit. Obviously I'll need to sleep night shift tomorrow night. But I'll play while I'm awake. Have a good one, guys. Good night.